Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Strawhead Izzy, aka the Izzy Cruise on Twitch, if you follow me there. Today I'm going to be bringing you what I think is possibly the best blue deck of BT7, and that is Blue Goblimon Bond of Friendship. So, very good deck. It gives a lot of aggression, which is probably what you're going to need out of Blue from not having 4 Ice Walls, since you don't have time to do this whole Source Strip type of, mechanic like the OCG had, to where you have to be a little bit more aggressive with your plays. We're still playing hybrid cards in it, but we just decided to go full swing, try to do as much damage as possible in the limited amount of time that we have. I know a lot of people are tired of Gobble Bond already, but I promise without 4 Ice Wall it's not as oppressive as it is in the current format. So with that being said, we'll get started with deck profile. If you like the video, press the YouTube buttons, consider following me on Twitch. So we'll start off with the eggs. 4 Upamon, and then 1 Kiaramon. Kiaramon actually could probably be played at 4, and then you could do 1 Upa, but the immediate draw is usually better than the Source Strip draw. You just get a lot of value. I think if you're playing a blue hybrid deck, you maybe switch these ratios from 4 to 1 instead, but I think in this version of the deck it's just a lot better. From there, we'll start with the rookies. We have 4 BT6 Goblimon, because it's your best Goblimon, obviously. Does the restand. 4 EX Goblimon. I think the importance of this card now is being able to search for a Tamer and not really being able to search for a Goblimon, because a lot of your aggression will come for your Tamers. Your Bond is just your way to kind of end the game, since you're not really playing Susanomon due to the loss of Mega Digimon Fusion. From there, we play 4 Draw Goblimon, because consistency. We don't play the other Gobloos because I think these are just the best 12 to play, and until we get better ones, I don't see why we wouldn't play them. Beside that, we have some Floodgate rookies. 2 Madoki Betamon. These are mostly here to stop Bokomon combos, to where your opponent is just allowed to play hybrids for free, gain 2 memory off of playing a 2-drop, and if they have multiple Bokus, then it's just net advantage for them. So I think this card's really good. Really good into the Blue Mare, so they can't Howling Memory Boost. Really good into Jess, so they can't, CL combo or use Gravity Crush, use Red Memory Boost. Fairly good into Yellow as well, for Reinforced Memory Boost, so I think it's a pretty good Floodgate card. It interchanges with the next card I'm going to show you, which is 1 copy of Siakomon. Now, I think Siakomon sees a lot more play in the BT7 format, mostly because a lot of the level 4 and level 5 hybrid cards now reduce their cost to Digivolve over Tamer. So if you have this out, instead of Jet Selfimon being a 1 cost over a hybrid with a Tamer in its source, now it stays as a 3 cost. Yes, they'll still recover, but they have to do it for a lot more. So between these two, they can interchange. If you have more trouble against hybrid decks, you play more Siako. If you have more trouble against the aggression and try not to lose Hammer Spark or Howling and stuff like that, you play more Madoki. So right now I'm just testing 2 and 1, but I think it's coming out pretty fun. From there, let's go ahead and talk about the hybrid cards in the deck, since there's not many other real type of aggression we play. 2 Lobomon. It has become the probably weakest blue hybrid now, beside maybe new Kendo Garurumon, but you still play him at 2. 5k. He's mostly there to Digivolve over your EX Goblimon so that you can search out pieces later. So it's your only real evolve target for your raising area, I would say. From there, we play 4 of the Kumamon. These are proxies. We don't have these cards in English yet, and Kumamon is actually really good. So you Digivolve over Tamer for 2, does what Lobomon does. 4k DP, so it's not huge. But what it does is, when Digivolving, so whether over a Tamer or over a different Digimon, target a level 4 or lower on the field and strip a source from it. That's really powerful in combination with cards like Tommy, where you can strip a source and then swing, stun something, and he just makes it so that your opponent can't do anything on the following turn. Speaking of stunning cards, probably the best card in this deck, 4 copies of Korikakumon. So for those of you who don't know, what Korikakumon does is, it Digivolves over a Tamer for 2, instead of the regular 3 cost that it does over level 3. Digivolves over a Champion for 1. And on Digivolve, if it's over a Hybrid or a Tommy, you target a Digimon on the field, and that Digimon cannot attack or block until the end of next turn. So what you can end up doing is Digivolving over like a Kumamon, right? Using the effect to stun something, and then you can Digivolve over your other Korikaku for 1 and then stun something else. This plus like Ice Wall was one of the reasons Ice Wall got limited, because being able to stun something and then Ice Wall so your opponent can never aggress you was a little too much. So I'm really glad that Ice Wall got limited, because now you don't have that crazy lock, and this isn't as oppressive, even though it is still kind of an oppressive card. But definitely play this at 4. It's the best blue hybrid card to come out in the set. From there, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Beowulfmon. For those who don't know, Beowulfmon is a level 5 that evolves over a Digimon with a Tamer in its sources for a play cost of 1, basically, reduces its cost by 2. It has an effect when attacking. You add back a hybrid under it to your hand, and then bounce a opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon back to their hand. So in combination with like Korikaku, you can Digivolve the Korikaku for 1 over like a Kumamon, right, or like another Korikaku. Then Digivolve over your Beowulfmon for 1 on top of your Korikaku. Swing, add back one of your hybrids, which is probably the best part of this effect. Bounce one of the guys that you didn't stun and still have already stunned other cards. So I think this card is very powerful. A lot of the level 5 hybrids actually have this effect where they reduce their cost and then they have some other effect. But I think this one's really strong. We don't play it at 4 because majority of our aggressions can come from the level 4s and the rookies. So we just decided to, only play 3 of it. From there, our top end, 3 copies of Gabumon Bond of Friendship. You don't play 4 because that's not where a lot of your aggression is going to come from. This more of a closing card and just supports the Gabumon lineup really well. Being able to do the aggression is really potent, especially in decks like Yellow, which if you don't kill them fast and they get to the late game, they always beat you. And like still keeps Jessamon in check, obviously, with Jessamon being a really good deck in the next format. Fairly good into red. If red doesn't kill you, then like you can aggress them and kill them, or like stun them so that they never kill you. So I think Gabumon Bond of Friendship is really good. Definitely don't play 4 though, only because like you don't need it that much. Like you're only ever resolving 1 bond, and if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you have other ways to win the game. From there, let's go ahead and talk about our Tamer cards. We play 4 of BT6 Matashita, because this plus Gabumon is like combo, right? Getting advantage, gaining memory, drawing cards is like super powerful, especially if you have multiple. 4 of the new Tamer, Tommy Himi. So what Tommy does is, on play, trash 3 sources from your opponent's Digimon. Nuts, just 3 sources, outright gone. And then it has an inheritable, which a lot of the new Tamer cards do, where once per turn, if you attack, so if you have Korikaku on top, let's just say, you swing, one of your opponent's Digimon with no sources cannot attack or block. So you can go like Korikaku stun something, swing, and then stun something else. And then if the Korikaku lives, you can stun something again next turn. This is fairly important into hybrid decks because a lot of them play Pokemon, so you can stun Pokemons for multiple turns and get advantage that way. Or like stun other rookies, stun Megas, because there's not really anything that can evolve on top of Megas. So that's very powerful. This card also, if Hidden Security plays itself, and then you get the on-play effect. Tommy's very good, very strong card. Probably the best blue Tamer to come out. Definitely the best blue Tamer. Probably the best Tamer to come out. Maybe tied with Zoe. The only issue is that this is a hybrid format, so you're not stripping too many sources all the time. So you could play less, but I don't know why you would. From there, we are playing 3 copies of Davis Motomia. So this card, right, could probably even go down to like 1 or 2, and then you could play like the old mat, the 4-drop mat that puts you 3, and when you play blue Digimon, it trash the source. But this just lets you get into your Bond of Friendship and your Gabumons a little faster. Sending you 3 is very important in this deck. Being able to get to 3 memory, I think, in any hybrid deck is very important. That way you could do your 2-drop into 1-drop into 1-drop plays, or 1-drop into 1-drop plays. So you definitely need some form of memory tamers in this deck. So we chose Davis because we think it's the best blue one. From there, 2 copies of Sora and Joe. This card's very good with source stripping. Because you're stunning your opponent's Digimon with no sources, with this on board, this allows you to gain extra memory at the beginning of your turn. So in combination with Davis, you can start your turn at like 5. Another substitute you can make for one of these Davises is just to play a third Soren Joe, because this card comes up so often. The only reason I am not playing 3 of it is because this is a Tamer format, so if they just want to avoid playing into this card, they can do it fairly easy. But beside that, very powerful cards. Strip Sources allows Tommy to go off, makes Korikaku even better, which is like the real strength of the card, and then starts off your turn at 5. And then from there, our option cards. 2 Howling Memory Boost. It does what all the other source strip cards do, and gains you 2 memory. Very good if hitting security. Being able to stun something is very potent. Being able to go further into your whole strip stuff, make it so that it can't attack, aggress them on the crackback type of play is just very potent. From there, everyone's favorite card, 1 copy of Ice Wall. I still think you play the 1 because if you just hold it long enough into pivotal situations where you choose not to lose the game by playing it, putting them in 1, and then you kill them on the crackback, I think it's very strong. At 4, this card was a little bit too oppressive, but I think at 1, it's fine, right? Because if they use 1, okay, you never have to deal with it again. Like, you just have to deal with regular, blue stuff, combo-y stuff. So I think it's fine. Last 3 cards in the deck are going to be 3 copies of Hammer Spark. You could play different cards like Absolute Blast, I think, in this slot. Like, you could play a copy of Absolute Blast or 2 copies, right? And still play Hammer Spark. You just need something to replace Ice Wall with, and I just went with the immediate, Hammer Spark into Ice Wall because they do the same thing in security type of thing. I think with, like, Memory Snatchers being around pretty heavily, like, this card probably should be some form of removal, because you don't really have any forms of removal in security. The one I would try to stray away from, for sure, is Cocytus Breath. Because if Cocytus Breath if Cocytus Breath is in security and you hit a hybrid, the hybrid goes back to your opponent's hand, and then they can just hybrid you again. So it's just way too much free value. If I was going to play any type of removal, it would be like Absolute Blast, or even like, probably something else, like Rattlestar could even get you value, I guess. Just, probably not Rattlestar, because it does the same thing as Cocytus, basically. I think Absolute Blast would be a great addition to this deck because you're always source stripping, so you can basically bottom deck anything. And guys, that's the deck. That is all for Blue Hybrid Gabumon Bond of Friendship. Let me know what you liked about the deck. Let me know what you don't like about the deck. Any comments, things you could change. It's definitely just a rough draft before the BT7, format starts, and I figure I'd give you guys something to look at, give you a basis, and yeah. If you like the video, give me a like, subscribe if you want for some reason, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.